to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from the AMP TV mobile studios here in beautiful Colorado. That's AAMP.TV. Today's show is brought to you by Legal Shield, providing legal protection and peace of mind. Legal Shield can help with traffic tickets, texting and driving, DUIs, court appearances, estate planning, even contracts given to people they don't understand, plus a whole lot more. For more information, contact Legal Shield at 213-245-1305. That's 213-245-1305. Or visit online for more information at www.nocourt.us. Okay, and a big welcome into everybody listening in and watching on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast. Big hello to our friends over in Honolulu, CBS Sports, 1500 KHKA, and our friends in Los Angeles, KCAA, our NBC News and CNBC financial affiliate, Magic 97.9 FM over in Las Vegas, KSIX down in South Texas, home of the Astros, Rockets, and Texans, WDJY in Atlanta, home of the, and WAUD in Atlanta, or in Auburn, Alabama. We're just going to run through these right now, and there's a reason we're doing that, folks. Hang in there. Don't lose your minds yet. All right, big hello to our friends over in Natchez, Mississippi. That's Jim Bob and the boys, 107.1 The River, all the way up to Boston WBNW, here with a very special guest. Oh, by the way, big hello to our friends sitting in hotel rooms, like 650,000 of them from coast to coast too, and those streaming on Facebook. We're here with a very special guest. We're going to let her introduce herself. Go ahead.
Hello, I am Dr. Edwards, and I come to you live from New Jersey, and I'm very excited about the segment today. Thank you for having me, Sal.
She says, Dr. Edwards. Well, there's a lot more to her. She forgot to say, I don't know, Hall of Famer. She forgot to say, owner of a football team, right? A football team on top of it. Devils 3 times most valuable player, 2-time All-American, 4-time All-ECAC. Now, that's all in basketball, is it not? Right? Is that not the one? Right. And there's a whole heck of a lot more. So Simone Edwards, Dr. Simone Edwards, a big, astounding round of applause for joining the circus today. All right. Okay, so give about the 30-second on yourself so people can really kind of get a grip as to what you've accomplished. And needless to say, it's quite a bit. I've only touched on that much of it.
Sure. Thank you so much, Sal. Again, thank you for having me. I'm pretty excited about this segment. And just to give you a little bit of background about myself, as Sal mentioned, I am a 2-time All-American. I've been inducted into the Hall of Fame in high school and also in college, with my sport being basketball and volleyball. I just recently wrote a book and became a best-selling author, working with the Author Incubator. It's a great company. Yeah. So I'm pretty excited about that too. And basically, I just keep coming back to my passion of, education and sports, being an avid athlete myself and also working with athletes on all different levels from grade school all the way up to college, even after. I'm a professional football player who started my own team and we won the championship. Beat a team in Texas. Pretty excited about that.
She said she started her own team. Imagine that. I mean, how many people want to do it on the playground? I'm going to pick you. No, I don't want you over there. No. But the point is, you started your own team. How do you start your own team?
It's interesting, Sal. I actually started off in Philadelphia playing for a team called Philadelphia Phoenix. And I just got tired of traveling, 2 hours to practice, 2 hours back, 2 hours for the game and then the after party and then 2 hours back again. And it took me about 2 or 3 years. And I said, I have to start my own team. There has to be other, female athletes in the tri-state area, no less, who wants to play professional women's tackle football, And so I started putting some feelers out there and lo and behold, within 2 or 3 years, I was able to get the team off of the ground. And, I think within 4 years is when we actually won the championship, so I'm pretty excited about that and the accomplishments of the players and the dedication that most female athletes put into sport and, just enjoying the sport that they like to play.
That's incredible. It's incredible. So, by the way, folks, so a basketball player and a volleyball player, that means she could probably jump out of the gym. That's my best guess.
I have a funny story about that, Sal. My freshman year of high school, I have 3 older siblings, and they played sports as well. So there was volleyball tryouts that I didn't know about. And the coach actually came to my classroom to find me and basically said, you will be trying out for our volleyball team. And I said, okay, well, I've never played before, but sure, So she's like, after school, come down to the gym and let's see what you can do. And I said, sure, as long as you tell me, what I need to do, I'm all in, and it's funny. So when I went down for the tryout the first day, they had a setter there and they said, hey, let me see if you could spike the ball over the net. And it's quite interesting, but I actually jumped out of my sneakers when I, was spiking the ball. So, the coach looked at me and she goes, she's on the team. She's on the team, so that was my induction, playing volleyball. Yeah.
So she could literally jump out of her sneaks, but on top of it, she could jump out of the gym. So, all right. So for everybody watching that don't know, how tall are you?
I'm only 5'6".
5'6". I mean, do you have these Spud Webb slam dunk the ball at 5'6"?
Back in the day, I would definitely say yes. I did play center all 4 years of high school, and I used to play against girls that were 6'5" and 6'6" and was able to hold my own, but when we transitioned into college, she's like, no, you're definitely not going to be a center. You're going to be a point guard, so I had to make that transition. Wow. But yes, I was able to jump and pretty much hold my own being 5'6", throughout my years of high school.
5'6".
Sure.
By the way, folks, in case you missed, this is Dr. Simone Edwards. We just call her Doc because we can, right? And so at 5'6", she was jumping out of her sneaks. She was jumping out of the gym. She was slam dunking. And here we are today, owned a professional football team, owned basically her own path. And I love the fact that you're doing more. And think about this. So, Simone, recently I covered something on the show, and it was about certain colleges want to cut programs from the athletic department, which is a big, big no-no, because how many times have we seen kids that go through athletic programs? Yes, we know scholarships for the arts and sciences, etc., are super important, but the arts, sciences are just as important, and the athletics are just as important as the arts and sciences, because we're talking leadership. How Absolutely. Many people have you seen, Doc, that have become good leaders from being a good leader in the athletic world?
Oh, a ton. I have, a circle of friends who are also athletes. And I have to tell you that just about every single one of them have made some great accomplishments. Some of them are lawyers. Some of them also have started their own teams and whatnot. And I think it's so important that as you raise that issue about, the arts and sciences and the athletics, they're just as, to me, equally important. Being an athlete, you have to come with a lot of discipline. You make a lot of sacrifices, and it, to me, it kind of sets you on the path of, you really don't have a lot of room to kind of mess up, and it just kind of keeps you focused, and I think that's how my career has been, not just in athletics, but everything else that I do. I can relate it back to, the coaches that I've had and the focus that we've always had to have being an athlete. If you wanted to be on top, if you wanted to be successful, there were certain things that you have to do. And I think I carry some of those, aspects over into my daily personal life when I'm not playing sports, and it just seems to have that same correlation, of just still being an athlete. And I think I approach everything from an athlete's point of view, even to this day.
Well, and rightfully so. Look at the years and years you've been involved in sports. I know that same rodeo. A lot of people know the same, but once you live it, it stays within you. It doesn't go anywhere, just like it's supposed to. And that leadership fire is also the same fire that came out on the field, on the court, on the ice, whatever it is that you played. It doesn't matter, because the will to win is one thing, but the will to win in life is an ongoing venture, right or wrong?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Absolutely. And again, I enjoy it. I enjoy the challenges. I enjoy taking on any competition that may come my way, because I am extremely competitive. I hate to lose. So that whether that be on the court, on the field, or like Sal mentioned, whatever sport that you're playing, I hate to lose. So I'm always in competitive mode. Even when I'm playing, I have a quick quick story. When my nieces and nephews were maybe like 9 and 10 years old, if we're playing Monopoly, I'm in it to win it. I don't care how old they are. And I'm saying, if you're sitting at this table to play with me, I'm in it to win it, And so I come from that competitive edge, like I said, in pretty much everything that I do. And especially now, life after athletics, I'm moving forward into different directions, but I'm still approaching it from a competitive point of view.
Yes, in Monopoly.
Show me the money!
That's all I want to know.
Absolutely. That's right. Give me Boardwalk and Park Place. That's it.
I know, right? All right, folks, when we come back, we're going to learn a little bit more about Doc Edwards. We're going to learn a little bit more about what she's doing with athletes. She created courses, all kinds of cool stuff, working with the female athletes. And I want to dive a little bit deeper into that in just a few minutes. Folks, don't go anywhere. A very interesting guest. And by the way, yes, owned a football team. That's the one. I want to hear a little bit more about that, too. All right, back here in a few minutes on the Circus. Lots more to come. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back to the Sports Circus. I'm Roy Firestone. Now it's time to throw it back to Sal.
My favorite one had to do with the Green Bay Packers. And I love the fact that they dealt off Ty Montgomery because of a blown assignment. Green Bay isn't Green Bay unless they have a good running game. Then they can win 10 Super Bowls. The fact is, you don't have a running game. You've got 70% passing, and that's not where Aaron Rodgers needs to be. He needs to be in a position where he's got a running game to offset the passing game and so forth. I like the move. Green Bay didn't have a running game anyway, so all they're doing is saying, we're going to get rid of you because you don't follow instructions.
Well, he made one of the most boneheaded plays I've ever seen. There's 2 minutes and 5 seconds on the clock. They traded him on Tuesday.
They should have cut him on Sunday night.
He shouldn't have been on the plane back to Green Bay.
Right, they should have made him walk back to Green Bay.
No, it was a terrible play. Now, he's not a stupid guy. He went to Stanford. Really? He's not a dumb guy.
He's not a dumb guy, but he doesn't follow instructions.
He made a terrible play.
The fact is he didn't follow instructions. And you say he's not a dumb guy. His own agenda he put ahead of his team.
I agree.
Thus, he is a dumb guy. Right or wrong?
Wrong. He just got selfish. You're not going to convince me that a guy from Stanford's a dum-dum.
No!
Yeah, this is Sidney Justin from The Miracles.
So you heard yesterday's show at Roy Firestone. Didn't you hear a little clip about him going into the office where Smokey was at? And that was really good material, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was really funny, man.
Yeah, and then you heard him.
I thought it was hilarious. It was cool, though. It was cool. Really cool story, man. I enjoyed listening to that.
Right, and then he gave a couple of bars. Can you give us a couple of more from Ooh Baby Baby? And let's see if you could do it better than Roy Firestone. Come on, man!
All right, you know what? Why not? I did you wrong. My heart went out to play, but in the game I lost you. What a price to pay. Hey, I'm crying. Ooh, baby, baby. How's that, man?
That's
Is that okay? Is that good enough?
That's incredible.
That's fantastic.
You know why? Because that's what you do. You're in the incredible business, Sid. That's awesome. Yes. Only on the Sports Circus. You're going to get sports. You get music.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
Hi, this is Tom Dreesen, and you're listening to the Sports Circus with my pal, Sal. And no one does it better.
welcome back, everyone. This is Dr. Edwards, and I'm here today sharing a little bit of information about a course that I created for parents to help position their daughters into a great position into receiving an athletic scholarship. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it back over to Sal, and I hope you enjoy the segment today. Thank you.
All right, and a big welcome back to the Sports Circus. Of course, I'm your Ringmaster Sal. Thank you, Doc, for that wonderful introduction. And a big welcome back to everybody listening in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast, those streaming on social media, also on AMP TV, AAMP.TV, and in 650,000 hotel rooms from coast to coast. Back here with Jump Out of the Gym, Doc Simone Edwards. That's the one. So we have to make sure we say her full name because otherwise we just say Doc. You never know. Could be Dr. J. I don't know. Is she Dr. J? Are you related to Dr. J?
I wish. No, I'm not.
Well, you did mention Philadelphia. That's the reason I'm asking. All right.
That's true. Okay, that's true. But I do like him.
Before we get into the coursework, et cetera, I want to know a little bit more about football. How in the world did you just say, I want to go play pro football? How does this work?
You know, it's interesting. I was coaching over at Kean University, and my nephew saw an article and they were offering tryouts for females, who excelled in college and so forth. And so I went for the tryout and I made the team. I've always loved football growing up, always was the tomboy playing in the streets with the guys. And I said, this is a perfect opportunity, and I'm going to go for it. So I, went to Philadelphia, tried out for the team and made the team and the rest was history.
That's exciting. I mean, look, think about it. In the neighborhood, we always had the games, either, kill the guy or the girl with the ball, right? And you just run for your life from the entire pack, trying to hold on to the ball as long as possible within that fenced area. And I know you know what I'm talking about. I mean, every boy and girl has either seen it or played it. Hopefully they've played it because they understand the old idea of survival skills, right?
Yes.
And you're running for your life and you got the ball, you're looking over your shoulders like, just stay away from me. I want to hold it. It's kind of like a rodeo ride, right? So you want to stand for the full, 7 seconds, right? So when you have that ball, it's more about, I'm going to hold on to it for as long as I can, never mind a clock. And you almost get bragging rights over the playground if you hold on to it longer than everybody else, right?
Sure, absolutely. And it's so interesting playing, I played volleyball, basketball and softball in high school and in college, but playing football just, for me, it just put me into a different level. And I have such tremendous amount of respect for those who play football because it's a sport like no other, and like you said, it's like survival of the fittest on the field, Sal. And you certainly want to hold on to that ball if you're on offense, certainly for as long as you can. But it's amazing. It's an amazing sport, and I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to not only play, but to also have my own team and afford other females the opportunity to play as well.
Well, I love that you're working with the female athletes. That's really an area where I think a lot of people are missing the boat. And look, I prefer watching women's basketball over men's basketball because they actually know how to play the game. They have tremendous fundamentals. Oh, and by the way, the women actually graduate college instead of being one and dones, huh? How you like them apples?
Yeah,
so the women come out. The women come out well prepared for life, whereas a lot of the men, they don't because they don't season themselves in school. They don't learn while they're there. It's basketball. What about real life?
True. It's very true. And I'm sorry. It's interesting that you say that because a lot of the coaches, when they started coaching females in football, would say to me, there's such a difference. There's not a difference so much in the skill, right? But there is a difference when. He said, when we're going over plays and I'm teaching the women, what they need to do, they always ask why, and for a while it would drive the coaches crazy. Like, why are you asking me why? Just do what I say, but as time went on, he said, I realized why they ask why, because they want to know the fundamentals. And he said, I have to tell you, having this experience coaching females as opposed to the males, he goes, I'll choose the females all day long. He said, because they're here, they're very passionate about it, and you can teach them and they're willing to learn. And I always thought that was so interesting That it would frustrate him in the beginning as to why we always ask the question, why, and then towards the end of the season, he's like, I appreciate those why questions because they really want to learn the game and learn the fundamentals. And it served us well, obviously, with winning the championship.
Right. I mean, look, we already know why you're qualified to help female athletes position themselves for the possibility of getting a scholarship. We already know that. And understanding why you created a course. But outside of those bits, what are you doing specifically for these student athletes?
So within the course that I created, basically, it's just to educate, really, not only the athletes, but more so the parents, too. A lot of times you hear parents speaking of information that is incorrect, or they're misled by a neighbor or maybe even a coach that may not have the knowledge, and understanding of what it really takes to position yourself to receive that athletic scholarship. And so I think the education piece is important. I think in light of the pandemic, parents are no longer at the fields or at the courts just kind of having conversation about how to position their daughters, to receive that athletic scholarship. So I think a lot of parents and friends were reaching out to me, asking me these questions. What should they do? My daughter's season has been cut short because of COVID. They're no longer at these camps. They're no longer working with one-on-ones because COVID has shut down so much. And with that being said, I said, you know what? I think it's time to create this course to kind of educate and just to help. I have a servant's heart, and basically whatever I can do to position someone, to receive an athletic scholarship, that certainly is what I'm willing to do, and that's how the course was actually created.
A lot of parents make mistakes, and I hear this. I've been an academic recruiter for quite some time for one of my graduate schools, and I know the trials and tribulations that parents go through when they're trying to find either academic scholarship, athletic scholarships. Right. Nobody's really guiding them because they don't know where to go. They're sort of in uncharted territory, and they only go on what they've heard from somebody else. But at the end of the day, they really don't know. So you could certainly shed a lot of light to those parents that have been horribly misguided, or they're just plain ignorant of the ideas.
It's so true. And I think the biggest mistake that, parents and athletes make alike is not being prepared. And I think that it serves them well to receive the knowledge that they can, learn from someone who's actually been in the trenches, and that certainly comes, with working with coaches, with working with trainers, with, maybe meeting with a nutritionist, and then just positioning yourself, to the best of your ability, and line yourself up to receive that athletic scholarship or to have the coaches actually notice you. That's the second piece of it, right? So it's not just about having the knowledge, but now we have to put that knowledge into action. And part of the course, these actions I actually go through with not just the athletes, but with the parents as well, because I think it's important for parents to also understand that it's a package deal that coaches are looking for. Yes, we know that this athlete has the skill, but what else is this athlete bringing to our university or our institution to represent us? Is it that parent, that may be a little bit overbearing? Is it the social media that they're looking at now that may cause potential problems? So all of these tips I go over in the course because I think it's important for parents to realize how crucial it is that they're not just looking at the athlete, but they're looking at the parents and the family as well. So it's a whole package that you're basically presenting to these college coaches.
Well, and Doc, there's a bigger problem. By the way, folks, we're here with Dr. Simone Edwards. Yes, two-time All-American, football team owner, supersonic athlete. She's basically done it all, and she jumps out of the gym, too. Big welcome back to everybody listening in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates at Hotel TV. So what are they in risk of, being the parents and the student athletes themselves? What are they at risk of if they don't get the right help in the first place?
Sure, absolutely. I've seen this so many times where the athlete may have the skill, but if they're not positioning themselves in the right place at the right time, they sometimes can be overlooked. We know that the statistics say that the top 2% of your high school class are usually the ones that the gravy train, right? They're receiving the looks by the top D1 coaches. So the 98% of that student athlete population, they're all fighting for an athletic scholarship. So I think the mistake that you can make is to not either reach out to someone who, like I said, has the experience and has been in the trenches, not to reach out to coaches who you may trust, or basically to work one-on-one with a professional in that field, and to also join camps and AAU and club sports so that you are recognized, because college coaches certainly attend these events to see what skills and what talent that they have out there to pick from.
It's a lot of great information. And folks, actually, when we come back from commercial break, we're going to find out what advice that Doc has for female athletes looking for that scholarship whose seasons may be cut short of all the health scares and things going on right now. Because I tell you what, there's a lot of people, including, and this drives me crazy. I'm going to finish with this for the segment. It drives me crazy that when you look at the draft, the NFL draft, and you say, well, wait a minute, you had all these Power 5, Group of 5, whatever, and you don't see the HBCU students that actually got drafted. And you say, why was that? Well, I'll tell you what, part of it, only a small part of it, was because those guys did not get a chance to play fall ball like everybody else. So this goes right back to the advice for the female athletes and so forth and so on. So, folks, when we come back, we're going to hear more from Dr. Simone Edwards. And don't go anywhere. You don't want to miss this one, folks. Lots more to come here on The Circus. Back in a minute.
Assume the position.
For God's sake, what kind of man hits a defenseless animal? You're all worthless and weak. Now drop and give me 20.
Speak when you're told to speak and not before.
7 years of college down the drain.
Oh, gnarly! Oh, gnarly!
What are you people? On dope?
Hey, bud, what's your problem?
Stop whining. You lack discipline.
Can't beat fun at the old ballpark, friends.
I don't know what the big deal about Cracker Jack is. Did you ever go and buy a pack of Cracker Jack thinking you're going to get a prize and find no prize in the box? Here's the pitch. That might not sound important to some people when you're a little kid, especially from humble origin, and they cheat you out of a prize. There's a bouncing ball. Second baseman has the Barbary over to first. It's hard to think in laudatory terms of the product.
I take it there was an occasional box of Cracker Jacks that found no prizes for the little Harry Carey many years ago.
You got that right. And boy, when a box of Cracker Jack to me meant a lot of money. Here's a pitch, bounce foul. That's the most asinine marketing I've ever heard of. One ball, one strike. These guys say, well, you sing about Cracker Jack. I said that I only sing it because it's in the song. Here's a pitch foul back. And I wouldn't be a bit surprised, even to this day, some youngsters who buy a box of Cracker Jack don't find a prize in the box. One ball, two strikes, 2 out. Well, if you're going to talk about our congressman being crooked, here's a pitch foul out of play. Why not talk about commercial products that don't do what they represent to do?
High pop fly. That would be a home run in a phone booth.
There's a drive. Way back. It might be. It could be. And
Holy cow.
this crowd is wild.
Did you give me my cheese whiz, boy?
Ho, 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 ho. Hey, hey, hey.
Are you the police?
No, ma'am. We're musicians.
Some people simply do not belong.
Hey, everybody. This is Barry Katz from the Industry Standard Podcast, and you're listening to the Sports Circus with Sal Tuzzolino.
to the Sports Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from the AMP TV mobile studios here in beautiful Colorado. That's AAMP.TV. This segment is brought to you in part by Cali Vegas, helping people create and host their very own radio, TV, or multimedia talk show. Cali Vegas can help people with getting out of sitting in traffic every day, going back and forth to the same old boring job, and host their very own talk show in their very own home studio. For more information, contact Cali Vegas at 949-445-1119. That's 949-445-1119. Again, 949-445-1119, or check them out online for more information at CaliVegas.com. That's CALI Vegas.com. All right, and a big welcome back to everybody listening in on our CBS, NBC, and Fox Sports affiliates from coast to coast, those watching on hotel television and streaming at thesportscircus.com and on social media. Thanks for joining us back here with Dr. Simone Edwards, a two-time All-American and a real popular person over at Fairleigh Dickinson, of course, I would imagine, right? Tell everybody a little bit about your experience over there in college.
Absolutely. I had the best experience there. My 4 years that I played there, played under a great coach, Coach Denise Fiore, just a wealth of knowledge with basketball. And, we certainly had our challenges, being a smaller school. But, we always gave it the best, had the tremendous amount of support from, just the faculty over at Fairleigh Dickinson University, as well as the student population. We just always had that support, and I wouldn't trade it in for the world. I wish I can go back to those days, to continue playing. That's how much I loved it.
Well, but the good news is you're still involved in the athletic world. You've got a course on how to help parents and the kids and checking out those scholarships. How do we get them? What mistakes not to make, et cetera. Now, look, due to the health scares, parents no longer have the opportunity to discuss with other parents on the field on how to get their daughters athletic scholarships. I mean, what advice would you give to them because they can't talk amongst themselves?
Absolutely. I think the first advice that I would give is just try to prepare yourself the best that you can. And when I mean I mean what I say in regards to preparing yourself is to position yourself with someone who has the experience, an athlete that has been in the trenches, maybe a one-on-one personal coach that can walk you through the process and the steps to get to where you want to be. And they certainly have knowledge, and understanding of what it takes to be that number one athlete so that you are noticed. The key is to have that college coach recognize and acknowledge who you are. And you do that by, again, joining AAU teams, sports clubs teams, working with, one-on-one personal trainers who have information as to who you may need to contact to come and take a look at you. Gone are the days of, the videos that we would send in. Most college coaches are now coming to these events to look to see what talent is out there. And they're certainly looking to recruit that athlete, and so I think it's just best for parents and athletes to understand that you have to position yourself to be seen so that the college coach recognizes who you are, they know who you are, and now they're going to follow you because they know that now you have an interest in their institution.
Doc, there is a fine line between doing things to get noticed by coaching staffs or recruiters, and then there is the big no-no on social media. How do you draw the line? Where do you draw the line between the do's and don'ts on social media?
For sure. So we most college coaches, they certainly don't want a pompous athlete. They want an athlete who is confident and who, is willing to go through the trenches to get to where they need to be and what they want to accomplish. And just to, go back to Sal, what you mentioned with the HBCUs not being recognized in the NFL draft. I think that separation is just having opportunity. And like you said, they weren't able to play that fall ball. Therefore, it's almost like they go unnoticed. And so that's what I mean when you need to position yourself to either be linked up with a one-on-one coach who has been in the trenches, who has the connections, who can pick up the phone and make a phone call and say, hey, listen, coach, I got a great athlete that you need to come and see. Those are the important things. And in regards to social media, you don't want to be pompous. You don't want to be arrogant, because coaches aren't looking for that. but they certainly want to see that you are a dedicated athlete and you're going to give it your all to get to that next level. And it's important. And that's one of the things that I cover in my courses also, the importance of what your social media looks like. There's certainly been, student athletes and just athletes in general who have had, a decision where they were originally admitted to a college has since been rescinded because of their social media. So when I tell you that they pay attention to that part as well, it's very, very important that you keep your social media clean. And also parents, the college coaches don't want to see you posting for your child. They want to see that your child is independent and able to do it on their own, because certainly you're not going to play for them. They're looking for the kid to play. So that's important too. And these are all the steps that I also cover in my course, and also just kind of connecting the parents and the student athletes to my connections to get them to that next level.
Right, folks, back here with Dr. Simone Endres, two-time All-American. And by the way, football, volleyball, basketball, right? She's basically done it all. She has a really cool course to help the parents and help the student athletes, help the girls do what they need to do to get themselves in a position maybe to go find that scholarship that they really need to help cover the cost of very expensive tuition these days. And so let me ask you this, Doc. Is it possible that the parents can expect a particular result, or really what can they expect by working with you in the first place?
Absolutely. They certainly can expect my dedication and my work ethic, right? But more importantly, I have the connections because I have been in the trenches. I've worked alongside some of the top coaches in Division 1, 2, and 3 levels, and I could definitely help position them so that their daughters are well prepared, and that just doesn't only happen on the court or the field, but also in the classroom. And also, I think it's important for parents to recognize and realize that they also play an intricate piece to their daughters possibly receiving a scholarship, because like I said, the coaches are no longer just looking at the athletes, but they're looking at the entire family as a whole. So it's important for the parents to act accordingly also, and just to make those connections and start networking with people who are already in the trenches and who can propel you to the next level, so that these college coaches are aware that you even have a daughter that plays that could potentially be recruited for a Division 1 or Division 2 school.
So, Doc, how can everybody learn about the course? How do they follow you? How do they get this information? Please tell everybody.
Absolutely. So I have a Facebook and Instagram page under Satellite Affiliate, SATELLITE, Affiliate, AFFILIATE. You can certainly look me up on those pages. But I think the easiest way is you could just send me an email, let me know that you're interested. And that email is D as in dog, OCED 2020 at gmail.com. So it's doced2020@gmail.com. That's probably the easiest way if you can't find the satellite pages on Facebook or Instagram, to get in touch with me and just shoot me a quick email and say, hey, Doc, I'm interested, learning more about, the course that you have to offer, and I can certainly get you that information.
You know what I like? You are a shining example as to, we talk about the women that they'll graduate college playing basketball, then they'll go into maybe the WNBA, whatever. I love the fact that you took the time to not only spell, but it's D as in dog or A as in apple, whatever. I have to tell you, out of all the people that have been on the show, you're the only person that has ever done that. And I have to say, an astounding round of applause goes your way. Because most people drop it's like, I wonder what did they say? I don't know. I don't remember what they say. And so the problem is they don't think about it. And a lot of the guys that come out, they just don't think about it. I mean, it is what it is. Right? It's just like, come on, people figure it out. But I love the fact that you already had it figured out.
Thank you so much, Sal.
But it means a lot, because these are ways for people to get in touch with you. Otherwise, they have to try to decipher, what is it that they said? How many times have you heard that? And you're like, well, what's your Instagram? What's your Facebook? What was that? And they try to rewind it. They just can't get it.
It's so true. It is so true.
Right. It's about articulating.
I don't know. Do I win a prize for that, Sal? I don't know.
Well, you've already won a prize. You're wearing that FDU
I like
right across. right?
You're right. This actually was a gift.
Go ahead and plug FTU for a second.
Absolutely. Fairleigh Dickinson University. Melissa Brooks is actually one of the younger coaches who took over the program. She's doing an excellent job. And she actually is the one who granted me my FDU, jacket. Those of you who are athletes, you know that we love our gear. We love our apparel. So, anytime I can get a pair of sweats, or a jacket, representing FDU and my basketball number, I'm all in.
That's great stuff. I love that. I know. I mean, but the funny thing is, in our last minute here, we're gonna hold you over for the next segment. We're gonna give Eli the Dream Crusher Thompson a little bit of
stop it,
because he's gonna do a little bit of this. We'll see.
Amen.
Eli's a good guy. All right. So, but what I love is the idea that you'll articulate yourself properly, and so many people don't do that. But at the same time, you're speaking sense, you're speaking common sense, and you're offering people a path to a solution. How many times do you hear a show where somebody will get on, in our last 30 seconds here, they'll get on a show and they'll just rant and rave about them, but really offer no problem solving to the world, generally speaking?
Absolutely, Sal. And that's a great point, because I'm here. Basically, I told you before, I have a servant's heart, and all I want to do is help. So I'm here to solve the problem that they have.
Great. Back here in a few minutes, folks. Don't go anywhere. Last one coming on the Circus.
Thank you.
AMP, the multi-format network, is here to help create, produce, distribute, and sell your content. For more information, send a message to info@aamp.tv. That's info@aamp.tv.
Are you a small business owner or pursuing the dream of starting your own company? Do you know where to start or how to grow that existing business? The American Business Trust Company has the answers you need. The American Business Trust Company can help you with startup capital, business strategy, sales and marketing, and establishing your company with a physical location or on the internet. You decide. You bring the idea, the American Business Trust Company can help with the rest. For a free evaluation, you may visit them online at abtrustco.com. That's ABTRUSTCO.com, or call them at 657-600-1876. That's the American Business Trust Company, 657-600-1876. Call them today. They can help your business right away.
That's the sound of sizzling, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks from UpperCutChops.com. Their best-in-class filet mignons, New York steaks, and the king of all steaks, the tomahawk and cowboy cut ribeyes, are the best in the business. Even their Prime Wagyu burgers will likely be the best you've ever had. Browse the full selection of steaks and chops at UpperCutChops.com from the comfort of your home or on your mobile device. UpperCutChops.com delivers all-natural, dry-aged USDA Prime Wagyu and Angus steaks and chops directly to your door, without the hassle of going to the grocery store and fight crowds to pick from a small selection of average at best meats with injected steroids, fillers, and coloring added to look good. Find out what's for dinner at UpperCutChops.com or call 702-799-9935. That's 702-799-9935. 702-799-9935. Or make your selection directly at UpperCutChops.com.
Are you a small business owner or pursuing the dream of starting your own company? Do you know where to start or how to grow that existing business? The American Business Trust Company has the answers you need. The American Business Trust Company can help you with startup capital, business strategy, sales and marketing, and establishing your company with a physical location or on the internet. You decide. You bring the idea, the American Business Trust Company can help with the rest. For a free evaluation, you may visit them online at abtrustco.com. That's ABTRUSTCO.com, or call them at 657-600-1876. That's the American Business Trust Company, 657-600-1876. Call them today. They can help your business right away.
You're watching the Sports Circus, and I am Brian Erlacher.
Circus. I'm your Ringmaster Sal, live from the AMP TV mobile studio. That's AAMP.TV. Stands for All Ages Media Programming, in case you're wondering. Go ahead and Google All Ages Media Programming or AMP TV, and you'll learn a little bit more about it. By the way, folks, check out thesportscircus.com for upcoming guests, our prior guests, our recorded shows. They're actually saved as our podcasts, and you can listen to them. Hell, there's over 1,100 of them on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify. Click on either the CBS or NBC logo affiliates. Click on those as well. Take you right to the recorded shows page. Also, check out the partners. One of the partners is the College of Southern Nevada Athletics. CSNCoyotes.com for upcoming events and games. CSNCoyotes.com, in my opinion, the best school in Southern Nevada. Yes, it's Nevada, not Nevada. Sorry, all you Nevadians. Yes, get over it. All right, back here with Dr. Simone Edwards, two-time All-American from Fairleigh Dickinson. Yes, in basketball, four-time All-ECAC, and on and on. Tell everybody, give a quick summary again of all your athletic accomplishments.
Absolutely. So as Sal mentioned, I'm a two-time All-American. I was Rookie of the Year for basketball and volleyball as a freshman, and many ECAC accolades. I was invited to the Olympics for team handball. I started my own professional women's football team. I have a love for sports, and I just want to help whoever I can help experience what I experienced, because I have to tell you, I wouldn't trade it in for the world. Between high school and college, I just had the best experience and making great friendships. I still talk to my, college coach today. We're actually very, very good friends. And then even after, with the professional football team, I've made some great relationships, and, they have developed 15, 20-year relationships of just great friendships, and, being able to reminisce and still talk about sports now, and to help whoever we can help, get to the level where we were.
Right. And you know what? I love the fact that sports shapes lives. At the end of the day, sports shapes lives. Right here on the Sports Circus, our show talks about every aspect of sports, but more importantly, what happens after the sporting world. Because let's face it, for the average pro athlete, it could be just a couple, 3 years, but we don't really know how long it's going to last. So that education is really important, if you know what I mean.
It definitely is, especially for females. The males have the luxury of moving on to the league, and for females, I just find that sometimes it's just pretty limited, other than, the WNBA or, soccer and things of that nature. But you don't really hear about them too much, the opportunities that the males have. So with that being said, I think it's so important and so imperative that you have a plan B, and that plan B is your education and your degree. So surely you're going to play to represent that institution, with playing whatever sport that you choose. But most importantly, you're there to get an education, and that's something that no one can take away from you. So, you may sustain an injury that may be a season-ending career injury. But if you have that education, you always have something to fall back on. So I can't stress that enough, the importance of getting your education while you're also enjoying playing sports in college.
Well, actually that plan B really at the end of the day should be plan A. Agree or disagree?
Very true. 100%. 100%.
Yeah, it really should. I think a lot of people miss the boat on that. And unfortunately, sometimes people seem to overlook the value of a good education, going to a good academic institution, because look, there are degree mills out there, right? We see those all the time in professional sports. For example, I went to this particular school. Yeah, because it's a degree mill. They don't give a damn about you. They're not doing anything for you. All they're doing is what? They're turning out players for baseball, football, basketball, whatever it is, right? Hockey, et cetera, et cetera. Could be water polo. You never know. But ultimately, they care about what the program can generate financially instead of what those students are going to do to affect the world in a positive way.
That's so true, Sal. And, in fact, when I was deciding on what topic to do my dissertation on, one of the topics was exactly what you just mentioned, and more so for the males as opposed to the females, because as you said, they see that great athlete, they want that athlete in there just to generate the revenue or what have you for that institution. And unfortunately and sadly, many of them don't care whether they get that degree or not. You know, a lot of these players are in classes that aren't even relevant to what they may want to pursue as a career. You know, and it's just so unfortunate because it's like a vicious cycle, you know, and it's a hard cycle, in my opinion, to break.
It is. It is. Oh, by the way, he decided to show up, and that would be Eli, the Dream Crusher Thompson, the quarterback, so to say, the power forward in basketball. I'll tell you what, the last time I saw him, he actually grew like a foot. It's ridiculous. So, Eli, welcome into the Sports Circus.
Welcome. Thank you for having me. And by the way, that one football game, I was just taller than you, and that is the statement of the day.
Yeah, whatever.
No, we have many more. Yeah, we have many more statements. We have many more statements. That just happens to be a statement in the day, not a statement of the day.
Oh, okay. So that's how it works. By the way, Eli, you're on with Dr. Simone Edwards, who's a two-time All-American, in case you're keeping score. In basketball, she also owned a football team. So she will mow you down, buddy, as a quarterback. She will run you down like no one's business.
How are you, Eli?
I know what you're talking Sal, I know what you're talking about. You went to one of my football games. First of all, that game was my nap game. That first game was my nap. And therefore, I was nice and well rested for the second game because I had a nice long nap in the first one.
I saw your ability to cover defenders, and that was interesting. I watched your footwork as a quarterback. That was interesting. We'll just leave it like that.
By the way, is that your brother in the parking lot?
It was not my brother in the parking lot. There was some drunken fool out there in the parking lot, Simone, that was watching this game. And this guy walked up. He had a beer in his hand, whatever, and he was just talking all kind of riddle. But at the end of the day, we were there to watch what Eli could do. And so Eli does a high school prep report for us. Let's see if he wants to talk anything about high school sports. Eli, do you have anything for us today?
Today, we're going to be talking about how that the playoffs are finally getting underway for lots of spring sports, and talk about basketball and how that's coming in with high school basketball and how that's going along so far this year.
Okay, well, give us the 1 minute on it because we're a little bit short on time today. So what do you got? What can you summarize in 1 minute quickly?
High school basketball is back. It's back with about every other sport, though. And they're getting into the playoffs, and it's also about recruiting and players that are going into college and how well they will be ready to play in college. And that's what the main subject of the day today is. And talking about how they will be able to play in college if they didn't have a full senior year, especially the seniors. But you also look at players like Cade Cunningham, who's a freshman this year, who was a senior back in 2020, and who's played really well for Oklahoma State, despite the fact that he didn't get a senior year at Oklahoma State. Didn't get that much of a senior year in high school.
Okay, if that's the case, all those players that didn't play fall ball, remember, those seasons are now blending. How does that affect the seniors that played fall ball and that go into college now? They're playing, or better yet, they play spring ball. Now they're going into fall ball into college. Are they at a disadvantage?
We've talked about this a lot, and yeah, they are at a disadvantage because it takes a lot to play college football. That's first thing. But it also takes a lot to play high school football. And you can't underestimate that. But also with basketball, it's important to note that these players, especially some of the players who play football and basketball, if they play both sports, they couldn't do both of them. And how are you going to get ready if you're a football and a basketball player who, is maybe going to a smaller school and playing and attempting to play football and basketball in 1 year?
Simone, what do you think?
I totally agree with him on that, and it goes back again without saying that you have to try to position yourself, so that the college coaches actually recognize you. And with, unfortunately, the pandemic cutting these seasons short, how are these coaches recognizing what talent and what skills you have, So it's so important to do some legwork, and just get involved and to link up with people who are in the trenches and people who have connections, so that you can propel yourself into that direction of possibly being recruited. I agree with Eli 100%.
One of the important things to talk about it's also been tough on scouts. They haven't been able to find and go get the best players, and they've sometimes had to settle for players who really aren't that good. Just look at the 49ers. Even though we're supposed to be talking about college scouts, look at the 49ers. They really settled there. But we're talking about we're talking about how colleges have to go and recruit high school players. They aren't really able to fully recruit them because, maybe they're not able to see as many of their games because of the coronavirus. And, this year was really good to see in college basketball how we had players who were seniors, lots of them, because there are lots of freshman players in college, seniors, and to see how they adapted college games. There were some schools where those players were really well adapted. Oklahoma State, Cade Cunningham went off. They didn't go to the national championship, but they really played well. Then we look at Kentucky. Their team almost every year is all freshmen. They played terrible. They played awful. So,
okay,
really,
so
we're talking
Eli, listen, in summary here, because we're literally in our last minutes, give us a final thought. Take 10 seconds and give us a final thought on what we can expect for fall ball athletes.
For fall ball athletes, expect, maybe they aren't as good. Maybe they're somewhat beat up, somewhat injured, but they're still going to go out there and play football and play it to the best of their ability for us to watch.
All right. That's good. And by the way, Eli, thanks for joining us today and everybody else. And, of course, Dr. Simone Edwards, thanks for being a supersonic special guest for the Sports Circus today.
Thank you.
And, of course, we're going to have you back.
Thank you for having me.
100%. All right, we're going to have her back. And guess what? You're going to be back in about 23 hours right here on your favorite station. And until then, we'll see you next time. So long, everyone.
Attention business owners, you and your customers are listening to this commercial right now. Face it, every business needs customers, even yours. The Sports Circus is a primetime nationally syndicated program that's carried on ABC, NBC, CNBC, and Westwood One News affiliates, plus CBS, Fox, and NBC sports affiliates across North America with coverage from Hawaii to New York. Also, the Sports Circus is available to the 180 million subscribers on iHeartRadio, and the Sports Circus gets about 4 million website visitors per month, which could click through your website and bring sales. The Sports Circus provides great content featuring celebrity guests from sports and entertainment to our audience every weekday, which your company could greatly benefit from by increasing your visibility, foot traffic, eyeballs to your website, and calls from potential customers. Call us right now at 702-799-9935. Again, 702-799-9935. Or email us at info@thesportscircus.com. That's info@thesportscircus.com. Drive your sales today by advertising with the Sports Circus.